Welcome to Sit Down with the Superintendent, presented by GCHS TV. Join us as we welcome Greenup County Superintendent Tracy Moracey to our roundtable discussion hosted by GCHS students.
Well, that too. That's always a possibility. Okay, I think we are actually streaming now. So again, let me run back through everything. We had some technical difficulties again at the beginning of this, and as Tracy alluded to, typically I've got about, 10, 12 kids that's doing all this stuff, and they do a fabulous job with all this. But unfortunately, here we are. Now we're live. Welcome in to everybody. Apologies for the technical issues, but we have everything squared away now. But real quickly, if you have a question for the show today, you can send it to GCPS, Greenup County Public Schools, .faq@greenup.kyschools.us. I'll get that link on the screen. That email will come in. We will address it on the show as we go through. We've got several questions that I'm going to present to Ms. Moracey here. And we'll see where we are and what we have going on and kind of go from there.
Okay.
So let's start with the first.
Wait, first question. Is my angry face still on the screen?
No, your angry face is gone. We've got that fixed, and I've got to fix our screen
I've only
here.
had 5 texts pop up
Yeah,
on my
the
phone
angry
saying,
face, it was
you look angry.
Well, we were kidding with that when our stream locked up because of the network issues. I said I had a look of, oh my God, is this really happening? And you had this look of angry face. So
Yeah,
it's there, but angry face is gone.
Angry face is gone.
And then I'm going to jump off the screen here for just a second because I need to adjust the camera. But I'm going to present us with our first question. Obviously, right now, the NTI days were presented up to March 27th. That was a total of 10 days. So our first question is, are we going to be back in school after March 27th, or does this appear that's going to be a longer session?
It appears it could be a little bit longer.
Oh, excuse me.
I don't think he wants to hear what I say. It appears it's going to be a little bit longer. We are looking at extending our NTI days, but the first thing we have to do is take a look at whether the legislature passes the ability to do so. So if this happens, then we will look at making our actual return date April 13th. I know that is not the best news for families who are already tired of homeschooling. I get that, but we have to look at what they're recommending as far as staying closer to home and social distancing. So we are looking at applying for more days if that opportunity becomes available. If within the next week we get all clear from the governor, then we're going back to school because we want our kids in school. Teachers are posting that they already miss their kids, and kids are posting the same thing. So our goal is to get back. I've been asked if we are closing down for the year. That is not anything that is crossing my mind right now. So we'll go ahead and dispel that myth. Unless the governor tells us we have to do something that drastic, we plan to be back.
Well, and it's something too that, as an educator as well, I've been in contact with a lot of my students virtually, and it's one of the things you do get kids. They say we miss you, and it's you miss your kids at the same time. But we understand that we have to kind of take a look at some of the stuff we've seen through the rest of the world and some of these countries that have decided to say this really isn't something. And to all the Facebook naysayers who are published doctors and all these people that like to say this is farce, it's nothing. It's probably better to err on the side of judgment of let's be safe rather than sorry later on.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, my expertise is in education and management of personnel. It is not in medical fields. So I am not going to be posting any kind of tips or doctor statements or anything like that.
We won't find any of that on your stuff.
You will not find that. So I encourage you, if you are watching and you are posting things, just make sure that it's something that's a valid resource and not necessarily just somebody else's opinion, because we want to remain calm and communicate well and really understand that when we do share things that are really drastic, we can scare some people who don't know the difference. And then also, I have to say, I will say I've enjoyed some of your memes. Your memes with
Those are always great.
well, I'm enjoying the ones about homeschooling and how you've already suspended your kids and put them in school suspension. So we don't even get that drastic around here. So you guys are you're leading the way on behavior management. So thank you.
I just put the email up on the screen.
Okay.
So gcps.faq@greenup.kyschools.us. Again, if you have a question, you can hit us on YouTube. You can also email it to that, and we'll address it right here on the show. Obviously, a big one as we start looking at the time of year we're in. We're barreling down toward spring break. As soon as spring break's over, those two big questions come up: prom and graduation. And of course, we want to know what's the situation with prom and what's the situation with graduation as it stands.
As of right now, nothing has been canceled. When I meet, we are going to postpone our board meeting, which is scheduled this Monday, and that would have set our graduation date. We have postponed that until we can figure out how to do a meeting that is going to be more social distancing as being recommended. So on that date, once we have our meeting, we will post out our graduation date intent. As far as prom goes, I don't think it's next week, so we should be okay for now. And my suggestion is plan wisely, and my hope is we're back.
And a lot of kids, I think that's one of the things they understand is that we're trying to continue through this. And I know with my kids, I'll speak personally for my kids, they're staying on top of things. They don't want to fall behind of everything like this. So it's a different thing for our kids to go through, but it's one of the things they understand that this isn't vacation time. This is trying to make certain that we don't have to go back through.
And we've really been fortunate for our teachers to understand that as well. I see lots of communication going out there between the teachers and the students. I know my own child has had teachers connect and check on them to make sure that they're doing okay. We understand that we're here to work, and the ultimate goal is to not lose ground on the learning that has been gained throughout the year. We do not want to regress in our learning. So that's one of the reasons why there are so many, it seems like a lot of assignments, but if you calculate how long the students are in school each day and should be here each day, you will start to realize that I don't know that there are as many assignments if you really do a full day of 8 to 3. So just kind of keep that in mind as you feel overwhelmed. But we're working on making sure we can make them as engaging as possible.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break just so we can make sure we've got all the technical issues worked out. We'll step out for 60 seconds. When we come back, we'll continue addressing the questions that have already been submitted. Plus, if you have any questions, that is on the screen there, gcps.faq@greenup.kyschools.us. We'll be right back with this special edition of Sit Down with the Superintendent right after this here on GCHS TV. The whole thing froze as soon as we went on. Oops. Check. And welcome back to the special edition of Sit Down with the Superintendent. James Collier here with GCHS TV, joined with Superintendent Tracy Marisi. I understand we had some hot mics. I had to do that. We had some technical issues. I'm a one-man band right now, okay? I need my kids. My kids make me look beautiful.
Yes.
And that's a hard thing to do. Everybody told me, I do a lot of stuff with radio. They say, you have a face built for radio. I thought that was a compliment at first. I was like, well, okay.
You know, hey, listen, when you can look out here and see your face delayed as an angry face with 5 chins, you start to second guess whether or not you need to get moving.
You told me, you said no 1080 this morning, and I promise I didn't do that on purpose, okay?
Okay,
that was not
yeah, he
anything.
promised no high definition.
No high def, so hopefully everything is squared away so moving forward. And again, guys, stay with us here. We're doing the best we can with the pieces. Like I said, I wanted to bring my kids in. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring them in because of where we are. But
does this count as their grade today?
I think this is my grade.
Okay.
So they're probably grading me right now. I'll probably get plenty of stuff from them. Again, you see the screen there, gcps.faq@greenup.kyschools.us. That is a live email that is being monitored currently. So if you have any questions that you would like for us to respond to, please send it to there, and we'll add it into the show as we go through here. Let's continue on. Why are we not delivering meals on buses for people who do not have transportation?
Okay, so simply put, we do not get a funded situation for that. So our bus drivers who deliver meals, we'd have to have special guidelines for that, such as keeping food hot and fresh. And when we learn about a need of a family that does not have transportation, then we provide that privately. So our Frisky and food service workers, together along with our DPP office, they're identifying and cross-checking to make sure people are not getting duplicate services. We don't want the supplies to be wasted. We want them to go out to who needs them. So if you do have a situation with transportation, or you know a neighbor down the street that may be struggling, just reach out to us and let us know. But as far as using buses to deliver meals, the expense because of the size of our county is just too great. We do not get enough funding to be able to run those buses like some districts are able to do. Simply, we don't have the kind of tax base some of those districts have. They have it to take out of their general fund. We really don't. So we're trying to do it strategically to make sure that no kid is left behind in feeding, but also to not jeopardize our own bus drivers, who many are over the age of 60 in that target range, that could get ill from doing some of these runs.
And it's something that we take into account. We look at Greenup County Schools. It's a very large area, and again, we try to do as much as we possibly can, but at some time, trying to be able to facilitate getting to every single place that we have to go to, that's not feasible, especially right now where we stand.
There are certain places in our district that buses don't run anyway. Kids have to walk down to greet the bus because there really isn't a suitable driveway or turnaround place. So, you know, when you start trying to get to all those nooks and crannies, you individually leave someone out, you know, and you don't want to do that. So we are trying to make sure that people, we also have our food service who they know their kids. It's really been touching. Those ladies have refused to go home. We have tried to get them to, take turns, don't have anyone who doesn't feel well come in, and they are troopers. If they're, obviously if they're ill, they're not coming in, but we have no reported issues, and our teachers support and know who our kids are, so they're also reporting who may or may not have some food service issues. But these food service ladies, bless their hearts, they are listing names. They are sending us a list of names saying, I have not seen this particular child, and when this child comes through, they usually ask for extra. So that is helping us kind of target certain kids. That way we're not running buses out to every street, but we're able to just do individual baskets of food, things like that will save.
Okay, we just had a live question come in. I'm going to go ahead and I think it's going to go into our next part that we're going to, but the question was, how many hours do you recommend a sophomore to spend each day with schoolwork? He has these packets that seem so overwhelming that I've set him up with a schedule, about 45 minutes per class. Is this realistic? Now, I will say, each day, our classes, 50-minute class periods. So I think your 45 minutes per class period seems to be logical. And again, that's something that we have to make certain we understand with our kids. This is not something to where we're on a vacation. We are not on vacation. This is school. So we need to have our kids still in that normal daily balance
Right.
of getting out of bed, not waiting until noon, 2 o'clock to get out of bed.
Yes.
Get your kids up. This is still something, because the thing is our hopes are, no matter what we see from all around, we hope to come back to school.
Yes, and we want you to have grades to come back to. And we also are hoping to get some ways to get some things turned in that are not digital in the near future, just so that it doesn't start to pile up. We want our students to continue to succeed. And this is not a spring break. This is truly when you get up, you get to work just like you would if you came to school. Teachers, they have to provide lessons. They have to document them. Often this results in an assignment. The only way we can get our kids to have credit for this day of learning is to prove that we worked with them and did something with them that is educational and not just a review or watch a video from time to time. We need to actually be teaching. So we're encouraging our teachers to use digital resources, Facebook Live.
Tracy just dropped her microphone box.
I did, because I have no pockets and nowhere to stick.
Listen, this is going to be
thing.
this is going to go
great.
for a
Yeah,
word.
sorry.
Okay, so guys, this is live. Okay,
If you could
can't make this
recommend
stuff
us
up.
for an Emmy, that would be great. We're asking people to do Google Hangouts to document work, and this should decrease the daily assignments, but increase learning. So it does leave some of our kids who don't have technology a little bit in limbo. But I will say, before we even started this, we did a survey, and the survey showed that over 90% of our students do have technology access. So that was something we did before we even put this in place. I will credit your class and student council for getting that going, because all year long, the main question has been, why don't we do NTI days? When can we start doing NTI days? Other people do NTI days. So we had already started to put into place, could we do them? And how could we do them well? So luckily, it just, the good Lord took care of us. We had started a survey to find out how many kids did have access, and we were very surprised to know that over 90% do. So it's a different time in the world, and our kids and parents have put that down as a priority for them for communication. I know some people don't even have home phones. They have smartphones. So the access is actually there much more than I ever anticipated. So we're working on making sure it's meaningful work that you can meet in with your kids. Your kids can talk to teachers and keep this going in a positive route without it being stacks and stacks of the worksheet meal.
And one thing that I will say as an educator to the parents, when your kids are in these live sessions, sit there and watch what they're doing. Be a part of the classroom, because you get to see this is not just a hangout session where they're just talking and goofing off. There's real learning going on.
So there's no video games?
There's no video games while we're doing this,
All right.
okay? Now, we may talk video games, but we're still learning. I know last night I did a session with my kids, just checking in with them and making certain that their connectivity is okay, that they're not having any issues with the lectures that they're getting. But each class, and this is something to pass along for the parents, each class is required to make contact with every student that we have at least once a week. We're calling this wellness checks.
That's a mandate from our central office. We have stated this is what we want you to do. We want every student to be checked on, because we worry about you. We want you to do well.
And please understand, when we say these wellness checks, that means we physically have to either speak to the child, talk to the child, see their face on the screen. And if we can't do that, then we're going to start ringing those phones that's listed in Infinite Campus, sending emails. We're trying to make certain, one, that they're doing okay, and two, that this information that we're sending out for education, they're not falling behind. Because again, our goal is to return to school, and when we return, we want to pick right up where we are and keep on moving.
And you have to remember, the true intent of an NTI day was never meant to be long-term. When they put this process in place in our state, they had no anticipation of this being a 2 and 3 week process. So there are still bugs to work out, not to mention this is truly our first time ever doing it in our district. I have to say I'm rather proud of what's happened so far. Our teachers have embraced it, our admin has embraced it, classified staff has been on board to help out with things. Truly appreciate that.
Again, if you have a question for the show, you can send it to the email you see there on the bottom of your screen, gcps.faq@greenup.kyschools.us. A quick hello. Mary Rourke. She was my stage manager. She was hooking me up here saying, hey, this is not working, this isn't working.
Oh, very good.
So she's checking in. Steve Carter giving me a thumbs up, saying, hey man, you had a hot mic. I said, I know, we had to have a hot mic, but we've got people checking in, as well as Mike Ratliff saying thanks so much for everything that we're doing. So again, if you just want to send us a message and comment of what's going on or anything that you've seen.
Brian Gillum messaged me and told me that we had a hot mic. So
yes.
Thank you for warning us before we did something really stupid.
And it's something, one of the things I teach my kids in this class, I said, always treat every microphone like it's always on.
Mm-hmm.
And I had people blowing me up saying, your mic's hot. And I was like, I understand it's hot. It has to be hot. I have to fix our audio questions. So, so that's where we are. All right, let's keep moving along here. One of the things it says, how do I get my work turned back into a teacher if it's a paper copy?
Okay, so some teachers chose to do a mix because they weren't completely comfortable with all their kids doing all technology. Others actually sent home complete packets that were identical to the work assigned in Google because maybe their child said, hey, I really don't have great connection at home. I might have a little computer, but it's not great. We're going to begin collecting that work in paper form at the end of next week. We are going to announce this in detail by March 25th, so that's 1 week from today. I've strategically given myself time to get a very solid plan in place because everyone has a different situation. Our county is very unique. We have people who live just across the street from a school. We have people who live 40 minutes from a school. So paper copies could be difficult. So we are making sure we're doing that in a wise way.
One of the things we've already kind of touched on this is that one of my students who don't have internet, and as our survey showed, we had over 90% of the students in the district that had some form of technology.
Yes, I was very happy to hear that, and that is why we're encouraging. If you will see, sometimes we're sharing out different activities and things via Facebook. I know not everybody has social media or Twitter, but we do have some plans to get things posted on our main webpage as well to get home to you and via email, remind, those types of things.
And they have a system in place to where there's someone at every building throughout the day to where someone needs to stop in, drop things off, pick stuff up. There is someone located at each building in the district.
And we have staggered hours and kind of shortened our hours just because it does become cumbersome for people who are trying to homeschool their children and be at work at the same time, me included. Thank God for my husband. And what we'll tell you is we're doing a 9 to 1. Definitely someone will be in the building. That doesn't mean somebody isn't rolling in at 7:30 as usual, or somebody isn't coming in, and staying until 4. That is happening. But if you want to get in touch with someone at our building, 9 to 1 are our basic hours we have right now. Every building is covered with a principal or a secretary, and then we have maintenance and custodial staff checking in to make sure these are things we're thinking about. Are the coolers running correctly? Are the freezers running? Do we have electric running throughout the building? Those are things that we're checking on the facilities as well.
And I know this is a question that I've dealt with a lot of my kids is they keep saying, are we coming back to school? What's this? And the thing that we want to, I think, as a district as a whole, to perceive, don't get upset when we don't answer that question, because right now it's not a question that can be answered. Yes,
because anything I say online or on this
it's
video,
going to show up somewhere.
It's going to show up somewhere, and I do, I eat enough. I don't need to eat my words. So I am really trying to be diplomatic in this process.
I hope that the screen that we started off with doesn't show up in your history sometime.
I'm afraid that when you Google my name, it's just going to be angry face.
It's going to be the new meme. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Angry face. Kids, don't make a meme of this. I will remember who you are.
Yeah, we still want to graduate, okay? Lastly, as we finish up here, are district staff still getting paid?
Yes. There is this crazy rumor out that we're not going to pay our staff. We are still paying our staff. I will tell you that many of our staff are working twice as hard as they did before this NTI day, because it is much easier to talk to a kid and teach a kid in person, and to feed a kid in person, to clothe a kid in person, than it is to try to do that virtually. So his Google Hangout was at 8 o'clock last night?
Yes.
Okay, so I joked that he should get an NTI night instead of an NTI day.
Yeah, my kids they seem to work better during that time frame. I think I worked a little better too. But it's crazy to think. And I got to give a shout out to all the kids in the district as well, especially from the high school here, of how well that they've been. the communication that they've put forth, and the patience that they've shown as well, because I think they are understanding real quick, this is something new for the teachers. And we have a lot of teachers in the district that they have incorporated technology, but maybe haven't harnessed it totally. So we're trying to get them caught up to speed with that. So again, guys, this is an all hands on deck, and your patience is included as well.
Yes, we do appreciate our kids, and we are loving the families sharing their pictures. I've been trying to repost and share things that come my way of how you've gotten your day organized. I see parents have little agendas in front of their kids of at this time you will do this and at this time you will have outside recess. Please continue that, because schedules are very important to learning. If you are off schedule, you sometimes just don't get it as well. And another concept to remember is I'm going to work on putting out some healthy challenges to kind of get people up and moving and outside. Obviously, it won't be today because it's raining, but I'm going to work on some things just to kind of put you guys out there as challenges and ask you to share back with me on social media. So if you want to join that, I'd greatly appreciate it, because it gets a little lonely sharing things out all the time and not knowing if anyone is paying a bit of attention or just
You're going to find out if people are paying attention.
I'm going to find out today. I really am, because they're going to go, you know what? I counted your chins. There were 10.
Oh,
there were
goodness
10.
sakes, please stop. We're on 1080p, okay?
Okay.
Everything, she asked me, so please don't do 1080p. I said, that's all the way we go here. We try to go big. That's who would have ever guessed that we put this class together, we build this great studio with the support of Jason Smith, my principal, and the public school system here, and turns out to be something that we can use in this format. And
Absolutely.
I know that I've got a few people that actually attended my session at Kisti last week. They're actually tuning in to see what we're doing, because they're wanting to start using. Yeah, we've got a lot of eyes on us, and it's great that we can put this out there.
And not all superintendents have this kind of access to be able to get out to people, so I really appreciate that.
And this is something that I would expect us to be able to do as we get new information that we want to roll out. So that email address, guys, it's not just for today. You can field questions to that email address, and we can respond to those individually, and then we can also present those on a future program that we'll be seeing here coming up.
And this is all typed up as far as the answers to the questions we've gotten so far, so I will post the formal typed answers to this in case there's something you missed, and then this will be reposted for replay, so you can replay my angry face.
It was stuck on the screen, okay?
Yes,
my face of distraught, Tracy's face of angry. You can go back and replay that.
Yeah.
And if you know of anyone that was not able to watch the program today live, that stream, it is live. You can go to YouTube and replay it anytime that you wish. Even if there's something that you wanted to go back and check on or find out, that's something that's there as well.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
You got some items here that you want to touch in base on before we wrap this up, and then we'll close things out.
I wanted to end with a little bit of news and updates. First thing, just a reminder, if you had a building use request in for like a civic organization, birthday parties, things like that, we are not going to be able to honor those during this time, just because I think everybody understands that and they've been contacted individually. But just so you understand, those things will not be happening here on school site. Food service, we are working on doubling up meals when you do the pickup. That will save travel for you. So if you're coming out to pick up a meal, today, you got today and tomorrow's meal, both breakfast and lunch. So you basically picked up 4 meals when you came in today. That will keep you from having to travel back out tomorrow. So we're trying to think about your gas and wear and tear on your vehicle as well. Now let's end it with some good news.
Okay.
We did just get word today that we received the 21st Century After School Program grant. See, that's indication we're coming back one day, guys. We really are. And Grays Branch and Argolite have been added to that. Now, that won't begin until next year. That's when we'll get the funding. So next year, we will have those 2 after-school programs in place for parents and students. So we're excited about that.
It's not the Armageddon that everybody makes.
No, there's good news.
There is good news. It's at some point, whenever that point may be, we're coming back to school.
We are coming back, and hopefully, we'll be ready to hit the road running. I know as far as sanitation, we're ready to roll. We're just really proud of our people, and in a sincere thought, we care about you, and we want you to be healthy and take all of the precautions necessary as far as, like we said, it's not movie and ball game season right now, and we're sorry about that. But this might be a chance for you to spend a little time on puzzles and activities, enjoying some time with family. And I think, I'll be honest, a lot of people are starting to understand what public schools do. We do a little more than just teach. We work on mental health, clothing, food, nursing. There are a lot of things that we offer that we're having to try to figure out a creative way to do for you. And we are looking at every way to be creative as long as it's still funded and we can keep it up.
One thing I just received some questions on spring sports. Are those canceled or where we are? Currently, right now, based from the KHSAA, we are in a full-fledged dead period.
Yes.
So the only difference between this dead period as compared to our regular dead period that we see in the end of June and 1st of July, coaches can still have contact with players and parents so they can keep them up to date of what's going on. Other than that, if you are a rostered player, you cannot participate in any form of organized sports. This includes travels, and that still includes basketball because they have not canceled basketball. It is postponed. I spoke with Julian Tackett on Saturday, and he said he has told his crew specifically, do not use the word canceled. Right now, it is indefinitely suspended with the hopes that it comes back. At the same time, it also goes with the fact of spring sports, so baseball, softball, and of course one of the things that we just brought in here not too long ago, it's also bass fishing season, and I've got a lot of kids that's really frustrated because we're not out fishing.
I wonder who their coach is.
I don't know who that guy is.
Okay.
I left my sweatshirt over on the side. I couldn't, it would just disappear because it's got so much green on it.
I understand. I strategically wore black because...
We kind of color coordinate. We did not plan on doing this either, so it's but you're learning.
I'm learning.
She showed up one day in here and just completely green head to toe, and I said, Tracy, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
We flipped it around. We went to a blue screen.
I appreciate that.
And we make it happen. But guys, stay with us. We'll figure this stuff out together. It's a work in progress. It is a very fluid situation. And at the end of the day, life is going to go on. It's going to make things the way we do normal day-to-day business a little bit different for a while.
People will talk about the pandemic of 2020.
Yeah, everybody said, can we go back and hit the button on reset for 2020? I saw somebody on the internet the other day say, can we just unplug it and plug it back in? And it's been a fun year.
No, it hasn't.
Not even close. All right, Tracy, thanks so much. We will touch base with this again, and as
you want to try next Wednesday?
Yeah, you just want to plan on that?
Let's just do our regular schedule next Wednesday.
Okay, so next Wednesday at 12 noon, right here, and I promise we'll have some technical issues all squared away that day.
Okay.
So hopefully
the live mic is fun. The live mic is fun.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Okay.
You never know what you're going to hear on this stuff.
You don't.
But
send us your questions, and we will try to get those answered live for you on Wednesday, unless it's something that we think needs an emergency answer. We'll post it out on social media.
And even with that, when we receive those messages, we may still go ahead and respond back to you, and then we can still address those on the show.
Communication's key.
Absolutely.
Right.
Guys, that'll do it for us.
Right.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day and stay safe.